Pre-Prep. I hope you've had a lovely weekend and are ready for another busy week at school. In assemblies this half term, we're going to be doing a lot of thinking about our brains, why they're really important and how it's so important to look after them. So I thought we'd start with finding out about what our brain does. And I've got lots of pictures to show you on the screen. Here's one of what the brain looks like inside. Your brain's made up of lots of different parts, and we're going to find out a little bit about each one of those parts. Can you see this big blue bit here? It takes up most of your brain, and it's got a very grown-up name called the cerebrum. And that bit of your brain is in charge when you're thinking and when you're speaking. So I guess that bit of my brain is working really hard now as I'm talking to you. We've then got this red bit down at the bottom. That bit's called the cerebellum, and that bit's in charge when you're moving and balancing, when you're running, jumping, hopping, skipping, when you're trying to stand on one leg. That's the bit of the brain that's helping you do it. At the front, we've got this orange bit. It's got a very grown-up name called the prefrontal cortex. That's the bit that's in charge when you're making a decision. I wonder if you've made a decision already today. Maybe what you had for breakfast. Maybe you decided what story you wanted at bedtime last night. Whenever you make a decision, that's the bit of your brain that's helping you to do it. Then can you see these funny green pipes? This is the favourite name of the brain for me. This bit is called the hippocampus. That's the bit where you remember things. So things you've learned like how to read the word the, how to write your name, remembering things like when it's somebody's birthday, when you have to go and do a job. All of those things you need to remember are stored up in those green pipes, stored up in that hippocampus. And finally, we've got this yellow bit right on the end. That's called the amygdala. And that's the bit that's in charge of your feelings, whether you're feeling happy, or sad, or cross, or excited. All of those different feelings, those different emotions are controlled by that little yellow bit in your brain. Now, your brain needs some help because it's got a lot of things to do, and it gets the help from these neurons, the nifty neurons that zoom around your body at great speed, taking messages from your brain to different bits of your body. So when I hold my hand up, a nifty neuron is sent a message from my brain to my hand to do that. And it does it so quickly, they must be super speedy. Now, when you were very tiny, when you were first born, when you were a baby, your brain was quite small and not very strong. As you've got older, it has got stronger because you have taught it to do things. You've taught it to walk, to talk, to feed yourself, to ride a bike, to swim, to read, to write. All of these things you have been doing, and that has been helping your brain to grow. And the good news is, your brain never has to stop growing, even old dinosaur brains like mine. If I look after my brain, I can stretch it, just like an elastic band. Now, how do you stretch your brain? Well, it's all to do with learning new things. The more things you learn, the stronger your brain will be. I've got some pictures here of people who are learning how to climb a wall. I expect the first time that person tried that, it really wasn't easy, and they had to keep practicing. We've got somebody down here learning to ride a bike. I wonder how many of you can ride a bike without stabilisers. And if you can you remember how tricky it was and maybe how scary it was when you first tried to do it? You had to practice. Now it's probably easy peasy lemon squeezy. Similarly, I know lots of you are learning to play an instrument. Well, the very first time you sat at the piano or picked up your violin or your ukulele or your recorder or your cello, I don't expect you knew what to do with it or how to make it make a lovely sound. But every time you practice, you're stretching your brain, making it grow bigger and then it gets healthier. It's all about taking risks. If you go to do something and think, oh, I can't ever do that, then your brain's not going to grow. But if you keep trying, even when it's difficult, your brain will be super stretched and super strong. I've got a story I'd like to read you. This story might remind you of when you were little. It's called Walk On, a guide to taking the very first step. This is written about a baby who can't walk yet. Is sitting there on your bottom getting boring? Has lying around all the time become entirely unacceptable? It is time to learn how to walk. The first thing you've got to do is stand on your own 2 feet. It sounds easier than it is. You will need support, and this is tricky because sometimes what you think will support you won't. I don't know if you can see the pictures very well, but I don't think a cactus plant would be a very good thing to grab hold of. And maybe not the toilet, and maybe not a ball. It's not going to help you stand up very well. Be careful of things that are wobbly. You don't want anything to fall on top of you. Stay away from fragile stuff too. You don't need something new to cry about. Now, get a grip, pull yourself up, stand. Are your knees bending? That's okay. Straighten up. See how different everything looks from up here. Find your balance. It may take some time. Remember to breathe. Feel the sway, but don't let it tip you over. When you think you've got it, let go. Oops. It's very natural to fall down. Hey, it's okay. Go ahead and cry if it helps. Feel better now? You can try again, but first run through the checklist. Are your socks scrunched up? Are your shoes too tight or too loose? Is your nappy weighing you down? Fix whatever you can before you start again. Once you can stand up without holding on to anything, get ready to take that very first step. Make sure the path ahead of you is clear. You don't want any obstacles blocking your way or any rough patches tripping you up. Block out all those voices saying, "You can do it, don't just stand there, it's easy, come on." Only begin when you are ready. Important. Don't look down at your feet. Look forward to where you want to go. Imagine yourself is already there. Then, when the time is right for you, take the first step. And another, and another. It gets easier, huh? Baby, you're walking! Beautiful. I do like that story. I like it because although it's about a baby learning to walk, I think the message in that story is the same for anything you're doing for the first time, whether it's learning to ride your bike, learning to swim, learning to read. It's all tricky to begin with, just like learning to walk was tricky. You can't remember it being tricky because it's so easy peasy now. But once upon a time it was. Everything that is now easy was once difficult. But because you're amazing, you practiced and practiced, trained your brain and stretched your brain to make it into a super muscle. Well done you. Now I've got a picture on the board. I think some of my friends in year 2 and maybe some of my friends in year 1 might recognise who it is. Any ideas? That's it. This is the what if monster. Now the what if monster is a bit cheeky. He's the sort of monster that when you're trying to learn to ride your bike will go, what if you fall off? What if you can't do it? What if it's too tricky? And when you have a what if monster whispering in your ear, it kind of makes you feel like you don't want to try, so you give up. Then you're not stretching your brain. But here we've got the what if buddy. The what if buddy is going to say to you, give it a go. If you fall off, it doesn't matter. You can get back up and have another go. Just try it a little bit at a time. And if you listen to the what if buddy, you're going to be able to stretch your brain really, really well. Now I know a song about these two characters, and I'm pretty sure my friends in year 2 and my friends in year 1 might remember it, even though we haven't sung it for a long time. But I thought I'd play it now. Sing along if you know it. I'm going to put the words on the screen. Mrs. Luckhurst will try to look in my hippocampus to see if I can remember the actions. A what if monster is whispering in my ear. A what if monster I don't want to hear. What if this it goes, what if that? What if you trip and you fall down flat? What if monster go away? I'm not listening, go away. What if monster hear me say, I'm not listening today? A what if buddy is whispering in my ear. A what if buddy I do want to hear. What if everything turns out fine? What if you try and you just might shine? What if buddy won't you stay? I am listening, won't you stay? What if buddy hear me say, I am listening today? A what if buddy is always good to you, is always helpful and knows what to do? Someone good who knows right from wrong, someone who hears when you sing this song. What if buddy won't you stay? I am listening, won't you stay? What if buddy hear me say, I am listening today? What if monster go away? Oh, we haven't sung that one for a long time, but I did enjoy it. And it is a really good song to keep in your mind this week. Maybe there'll be times when you find the work your teachers are setting you a little bit difficult. Ooh, will you listen to the what if monster or the what if buddy? I hope it's the what if buddy, because every time you listen to him, he's going to help stretch your brain to make it super strong and healthy. I brought the candle along, so I'm going to light it and we'll say a prayer together. Put your hands together, close your eyes, listen to the words and make them your own by saying Amen at the end. Dear God, help me to grow my brain today. Help me not to give up when things are hard. Help me to try new things, even if they seem a bit scary. Help me to practice things so difficult things become easy. Help me today and every day. Amen. Thank you for listening to this Assembly Pre-Prep. I wonder if I'll be giving out any merit badges this week to people who've been listening to the What If Buddy. That would be really lovely. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.